Hello again, everybody. This is Migueltio, the North Country Latino, and it's spring. It's spring. It's finally here, and it's warmer than it's been in I don't know how long. And I know that before I did a real cool shrimp recipe during Lent. Guess what? It's no longer Lent, and I just want to do another really cool shrimp recipe. So I'm going to do a neat recipe that I never heard of before. Of course, living in the South for a while, I've heard of crab cakes, good old Maryland crab cakes, and a lot of people have crab cakes. They're all over every restaurant in the South you could imagine. Well, anyways, these are shrimp cakes, and that's what's going to be on the table tonight at Migueltio, the North Country Latino. Starting off with a good slice of green pepper. I'm going to chop these together, and about a small to medium onion. You're going to put these all together in a food processor because they've been finely chopped. I mean, if you don't, you can sit there with a knife. But if you got a food processor, go for it, baby. So you got pepper. You can use any grade of bell pepper you want. Red, yellow, orange, green, etc., etc. Onion and celery together. Chop it up. That's finely chopped if I've ever seen it. Then we're going to spray a good sized skillet with all kinds of non-fat cooking spray and preheat it. So the oven's on. And your next job is to get that onion and celery and pepper into the pan. Get the blade out of the way. Empty it out. You're going to basically stir this stuff till it gets all nice and opaque, clear, just like you would anytime you put an onion or pepper or celery or any veggie in a pan. The spoon to get the rest of it out of there. Don't waste an ounce of it. And then you're just going to basically stir that around and let it cook. Now finally that's chopped up in the food processor. When you think of Maryland crab cakes, you don't think of big, huge, humongous pieces. So maybe a food processor is the best way. Unless you can really chop that fine, and if you can, go for it, baby. Now meanwhile, back in the food processor, I'm going to put about 3 slices of whole wheat bread in. Why? Because I'm going to make my own homemade whole wheat breadcrumbs instead of using the store-bought. So chop those up. Good and finely chopped. I would say so. Heating up on the stove, time to stir it around. These veggies nice and clear. Meanwhile, you got about a pound of shrimp ready and waiting. I know they're saying shrimp's going up, the price is going up. And you know, I heard on one of those world news reports that one thing that's coming down, and I don't know, go figure, lobster. Maybe we'll be making lobster cakes sometime soon, because if that price goes down and shrimp goes up, we'll be kind of changing places as to how it's normally been. I haven't really cooked with lobster at all, maybe because it's been so expensive. But if shrimp kind of changes and gets more expensive, I'll be cooking with more lobster. You never know, folks. I don't know, but this is a cool enough recipe to try here on a Friday night in the spring. Get those veggies nice and warm through. When everything's warm through, put your veggies in a bowl like this. Let it cool for a bit. Maybe 10 minutes or so. That way they're good to go when you want to handle them again. Alright, now that this is cool, you're going to take an egg, slightly beat it, pour that in. You're going to take a tablespoon of lemon juice. Throw that in with your veggies. You are then going to take a teaspoon. Alright, a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Or if you want, you can use cayenne pepper. Whatever you got on hand, either one will do. Nice and spicy, you know what I'm saying? Typical southern recipe if you want. Throw it in. This one, solamente uno. A little tab back on it and put it away. And then you're going to take out your breadcrumbs. Throw your breadcrumbs in. Play it out. In they go. So that everything is together. Maybe stir it around a little bit. Guess what you're going to add next? The shrimp. Get nice and coated with everything. Meanwhile, you're going to reheat that skillet again with some more oil or stick spray, whatever you want to use. Get that shrimp and all those veggies and the whole wheat crumbs and the lemon juice and the spices nice and mixed together. It's going to be like making sloppy joes for some of you, the way you do this. Spray that pan again. All nice and coated. Take your hands, you gotta wash them first, make sure they're done, which I have, and make about 4 cakes. No more than 3 inches across, ½ inch long. Like a burger, you know what I'm saying? Throw it on. It was somewhere, I can't remember where they made shrimp burgers. I've done tuna burgers, but this is the first time anything like this with shrimp. I think it's cool. Four at a time. In there so they're nice and bunched. I'm going to add a little more breadcrumb to that one. One of them fell out. There they go. Nice and condensed. I'm going to wash my hands so I can get ready to do it again. You can't be clean enough in the kitchen. And you're going to have those burgers on, or those shrimp cakes, excuse me, they're not hamburgers. Get your handy dandy spatula out. Pat them down. Look how good they look on that. Got that grill on there on high heat. I suppose you could use like an electric griddle if you wanted. But a stove like this is just fine. And let them go, baby. Let them go on each side so they get nice and cooked through. I think I'll watch it go over brown, maybe about, I don't know, 5 minutes each side. That's about typical for a hamburger, I know. Or another one we've done before, actually my wife likes it, is salmon patties. And it's about 5 minutes each side too. That's what this is similar to also, the salmon patties, if you've ever done those. Now meanwhile, while those beautiful shrimp cakes are cooking, I'm going to take a very low fat mayonnaise with olive oil. I'm not a big mayonnaise fan, but this one is not a bad mayonnaise, in my opinion anyways. Put about maybe half a cup or so, maybe a little less, into this bowl. Good squeeze bottle, so you don't have to go sitting with a big spoon and all that. And take, if you will, another teaspoon of that Cajun spice. Throw that into the mayonnaise. You're making like a Cajun mayonnaise to go with it, is what you're doing. You know how they have the sauces and everything for the Maryland crab cakes? This is just like that. And then take your lemon juice and add another tablespoon to that. And stir this about. Look at that, only a minute left on there until I turn these. Stir that mayonnaise around. To make into a nice accompaniment for these cakes. Kind of like some of the different alternatives you can put on a Cuban sandwich or a midnight sandwich. Or maybe a noche, if you will. And they're turned over. Nice and browned up on the back. And you give them maybe a little less minutes on the other side. I gave them about 4. And I turned my heat down a little bit. So, you know, that way they're going to be cooked through on both sides. Look at that, they are done. Guess what you got to do? Same process. Finish the other half of that bowl. I have sprayed it. I'm going to make another bunch of cakes here. See if it goes to 4. It says it will, but you never know. Well, let me turn the timer off because I'm done with the first batch. There's 1. Pat together for 2. There we go. 2 on. Put this up here. I guess it's only going for 3, and that's okay. You know how they say calls for 8, calls for 9. You get 7 out of it, now you're good. Pat them down. Wash my hands. Get the bowl out of the way here. Any last scraps to put on these cakes so they can get everything I made for them. And they're on. There they are, cooking like the last one did. One thing for 30 seconds, brown up, nice. My goodness, they're all done. Look at this little plate I made here. A couple of shrimp cakes, a nice organic salad with a mix of baby spinach inside, as well as the lettuce. Put a little dab of that Cajun mayo mix on there, and you're good to go with shrimp cakes and spring and an awesome recipe. And I hope everybody has a great weekend in the weeks ahead too, even if it's not the weekend you're watching this right now. Have a great weekend coming up. Have a great week. It's time for dinner. Time to eat. Shrimp cakes from Migueltio, the North Country Latino. Till next time, buen provecho.